I think the position I most align with would be William Blake's. And Kathleen Ray described him as the first Christian polytheist. And I think I'm a Christian polytheist. That's to say, I believe in one God and many gods. Or to put it another way, theologically, I believe in one God, but psychologically, I believe in many gods. That I believe the many gods of Greek myth do better justice to the richness and complexity of my psyche. But at the same time, I also want to believe in one God. So I have no trouble resolving the age-old problem of the one and the many in religious terms, because I do it like that. Another way of doing it is James Hillman recommends reconciling this problem by recognizing many gods, as the Greeks would, as all pre-Christian cultures did, but revering one at a time. That's how he resolves the problem. And he thinks that in the course of a life, let's say, take the Greek gods as an example. He says, because the Greek gods, there are a lot of them, at least 12 in the pantheon, but more. He thinks you should recognize each one in the course of your life in turn. And that way you achieve a kind of wonderful wholeness, that you've paid respects and revered each god in turn and been under its aegis for a certain amount of time. And at the end, you have a perfectly filled out psyche, which is very rich and takes into account all the gods. And yet there is a kind of unity there, And indeed, even in polytheism, there's always the idea, isn't there, there's one supreme God behind the many gods, So they have a latent monotheism in them, polytheism does. And conversely, I think monotheism, even Christianity, has a latent polytheism in it, in that Christianity had no sooner been instantiated than, it became a trinity. We're already in trouble, And early people argued about the nature of Jesus. Was he like Adonis? Was he like Hercules? Was he like Apollo? Was he like, and it turns out he could be identified with all these Greek gods, that a lot of Greeks who converted to Christianity were quite happy attributing their own favorite Greek god to the nature of Christ, So polytheism can sort of be embraced by Christianity, except, of course, in its most puritanical forms. It's really the Puritans that did for Christianity, and we see that as a human tendency. The ascendancy of that puritanical, heroic ego, which excludes everything. All images, which is rigid, dogmatic, stiff, inflexible, judgmental, and we see that again today, and enough said on that score, So that would be my answer, I think.
Just to add one thing, Patrick, do you know, because Goethe and Schiller faced this exact same question.
Yes, how did they come up with it? What answers did they give?
I will paraphrase it. It's not the exact wording, but they said something to the effect of, in studying the world, we are pantheists. In doing poetry, we are polytheists. Morally, we are monotheists.
That's very good. Yes, I probably like that. Yeah, very good indeed. Yeah.